evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing alright. I'm going to be streaming, well, what I hope will be the remainder of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, I'm almost ready to go. Let's set this aside for now. Okie dokie. There we go. I'm ready to go. How did I get into this mess? That's far enough. You can't run forever, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What's that again? What have I done wrong? I cannot allow you to go on like this. But I'm just a simple defense attorney. Silence! You are no longer worthy of your title. What's it gonna be again? I've had this dream before, someplace, some time ago. He's not gonna be amnesiac again, is he? Today I'll stand in court as a lawyer to prove a killer innocent. March 23rd, 9:43 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Hello, this is Phoenix Wright. You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right? He's got his glass again. Okay, there we go. If you please, Mr. Lawyer, remember it's not just me. Your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict too. Now listen up, you'd better get Engar a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag and not guilty, I'll never forgive you, ever. Maya. Phoenix! Phoenix! Mia! Maya, how's Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday. Mia, what am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. But you can't give up, there's still some hope left. Stop it, please, there's nothing left. Not here, not anywhere. What's that again? It's that accursed Engard again. You leave me alone. Look, don't call me anymore. I mean it. You're really mean, pal. Gumshoe, I'm really sorry. Where are you? They let me join the investigation team and we're chasing after the killer, pal. Then you have some sort of lead? Sorry, but right now we've got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not going to give up. Gumshoe. Until the trial is over, until the verdict is handed down, we're going to do everything we can and find the killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get Engard the guilty verdict it deserves, pal. That's true, I could do that if they found Maya first. You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer. I have to make the trial last longer? If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you've got, then you two can draw it out. Oh, now I get it. I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. Yeah. So, believe in us. We're going to give it all we've got, just like you. Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. Hey, Phoenix, you understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world and you have it in abundance. Yeah. Looks like we're coming to the end. I have to make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through. I know it. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Engard. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being what exactly was Miss Adrian Andrews' role in this murder. That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicions onto Mr. Engard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. Then you're saying that she is guilty after all. I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? It looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Yes, Juan Corrida was killed by a professional assassin, and the person who hired the assassin, his client, so to speak, is Matt Engard. What a surprising turn of events. I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time, so I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can, at least until Maya is safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Not quite sure what he saw, that guy. Okay, name and occupation witness. Okay, I'm Will Powers. I'm a poor underpaid action star. And what is your relation to the defendant? Well, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him in a way, yeah. Mr. Powers, please, you don't need to put yourself down so much. Oh, sorry, well, but I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy. On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct? I didn't know that. But you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Engard's room. Okay, sure. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony, and talking with the bellboy is no big deal. Depending on who the bellboy is, that silhouette seemed familiar. If one assumes that the person Mr. Engard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy, what are you implying? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation. Damn it, I can't pronounce tonight. Like every other night, is what I should say. A trap. Can you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just going to have to charge in head first, right? After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. I should press, maybe. Oh! Are you sure that was Matt Engard? Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai mask then. If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. And what was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room? He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. What do you mean, at first? My question exactly, yeah. What, he was in a bellboyish uniform and he had a bottle of juice on a tray. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me. Hey, that's the tomato juice bottle that was found in the victim's room. Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. And why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Sorry, but I can't remember right now. Sorry. I guess I'm going to have to wait patiently on this one. I watched two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. Wait. Hold on. You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant, together, correct? Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? You know, I did feel something very weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. A tip? But that's a perfectly normal thing to do with a bellboy. So how long did you watch the two of them? Not more than a minute or two, I think. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. So who are these guests you're talking about? Well, I must be talking about you, Maya, and Pearls, I guess. You guys, of course, you and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway. This is like squeezing water from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Do you remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember that happening at all, actually, yeah. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state. I ended up focusing on her. I see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. Yeah, do you have more maybe on this? Hey, wait a second. Actually, Mr. Powers, only a few minutes ago you stated... you know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? Ah, yeah, that's it. You really know your job. Miss Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he? Perhaps we should let the witness tell us. Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony. You mean about bellboy, right? Matt gave the bellboy a tip. I watched the two of them. Wait. So he gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that? No! No, please, stream. No, don't die on me now. What's going on? Okay, it seems to be back to normal, but that was a bit weird and I was scared for a second. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. How much it was? But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket, and that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow at all. It sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. Ask about the tip maybe first. The defendant is a huge star. He can't afford to give generous tips, wouldn't you agree? Sure, but giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think. A little too much? Would you please clarify for the court about how much would you say the defendant gave to the bellboy? Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess. And why is that? Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash. Oh, sounds more like payment than a tip, wouldn't you agree? Well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it? A very fat roll of cash that can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. I don't know. I'm supposed to make to make it last as long as I can for Maya's sake. So, the defendant is a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him. I don't know about that, but are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting? He's got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work. So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Payment? Isn't it obvious? For the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida. Then the bellboy and the witness saw. Yes, he was the assassin. Hold your horses now, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't have any proof of this, do you? Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley the killer left at the scene of the crime. Shelley the killer? He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain that the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley the killer. Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head and I think I just figured something out. Oh. Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night. Well, when he came to get Maya for about that fake phone call, isn't it? Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw. Yes, sir. Right away. Why is my stream dropping so many frames right now? What's up with that? This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean what? What do you mean? Thank you very much. That is all we need for now. Huh? But I'm not done. There's still more. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. the Killer. Then we shall see. So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious. That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. This is no laughing matter. The second time. This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And what time was it? Well, I don't remember. The award ceremony ended around 8 p.m., right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that, and then I came back. And then I went to the bathroom. So I guess maybe it was around 8:10 p.m. by that time. You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers? Sorry, I thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Are you sure it was the bellboy? Yeah, and how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all. But you see, well, he had those stitches in his face. Yeah, those are stitches, not like a zipper like I've been thinking all along. So I'm sure it's the same guy that was talking with Matt. So which room did the bellboy come out of? Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Hold on. The victim's room, huh? Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, alright. Words cannot describe how screwed I am. Let's continue with the testimony, shall we? Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. How so? So what exactly was so out of place about him? Right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's going to say next. Well, the bellboy was empty-handed. Empty-handed? That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you? I agree that it is a bit strange, Mr. Powers. But is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide or try to pull a fast one? Let it slide. I need to gain time. I should have saved before though. There's nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy. But there really is. There really isn't. If you two are done being school children, bellboys are for room service. There is no reason for them to be empty-handed ever. Well, Let's just say that they would be very lousy at their job if they ever came out of a room empty-handed, or going to a room empty-handed, for that matter. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one. Edgeworth, are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious? I see. Very well. This court recognizes and grants prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could amend your testimony, please. Yes, sir. I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest room empty-handed. Hold on. No, it's not that one. This one. Because see, I noticed that before. He was handing the tray before in the picture, although this was more like evocative than anything else. There was no actual photo of this, but they were showing it to you before that the guy was holding a tray. But the tray is there on the crime scene, so hold on. Let me say first, just in case this is wrong. But I think this has a good chance of being true. Yeah, right, okay. I will attempt it. We seem to be onto something. Mr. Powers, yes? You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true. But isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and stitches too. So, a baseball has stitches. Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches? Well, there's also, what about him being empty-handed? I would like to ask the court to please take a look here. This is the crime scene. There is a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Corrida's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now if you would look at what is on top of the table in the lower right corner here, anyone can clearly see that it is a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Corrida's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. But that would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. But can you prove that Mr. Corrida was already dead at that time? Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? I blame you for leading me down this route. Hey, I'm terribly sorry. What is with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like to share with us? What, the rest of his testimony that he had been preventing him from saying earlier? Is there? The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-handed? What? I recall you had something interesting to say about his hands. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Huh? What? That bellboy, he was wearing gloves. Gloves? Yeah, pitch black leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right? Well, they sometimes wear gloves, yes, but usually they're like white, like cloth-made gloves, not leather gloves, and not black. Black leather gloves. Why didn't you mention them earlier? Sorry, it slipped my mind. Boy, does this make the bellboy look really suspicious. Alright, got the focus. I can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves. Come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones. So, a football is made of leather. Are you saying all footballs are suspicious because they are made of leather? Oh. But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant, and then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. It seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest? Oh yes, please tell us more. Okay. He's all too happy to serve. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room, then the old guy just left without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat. So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, next went to the defendant's room? Yeah, I kinda saw all that by accident. Some accident, I'd say you saw too much. And all of it was suspicious to high heaven. I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor, even though I'm not looking forward to it. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. Is that what you saw while you were busy spying? Excuse me? I may be a poor underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying. What I think the point is, where did you watch all this from, Mr. Powers? Oh, from the door of the bathroom with my left eye, in a sort of sneaky spy-like. Yeah, there was a public bathroom in the hallway. I knew he was spying. Please, does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know. Yeah, what was that? What did he give? What did he give to the person inside the room? I said hold it. Okay. That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details. Oh, okay. I should probably ask him only one question at a time. So who took this something the bellboy handed off? Actually, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. Only an arm? Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face? Yeah. So it could have only been Mr. Engard himself, I'd say. And then what did the bellboy do after that? Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room the thing... the old guy just left without even going into the room. Where did this bellboy go after he left Mr. Engard's room? Oops. I skipped stuff. Hold on, can I ask maybe about something else here? Amongst the options. Yeah, this something. He gave... yeah, but actually that's what was most interesting to me, yeah. What was this something, yeah? If I remembered what it was, I wouldn't be calling it a something, would I? But this implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can't remember, Mr. Powers? I think it was something kinda small. I would like to summarize the testimony up to this point if you don't mind. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm. Yes, it was just like that. Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important? Of course, Your Honor. I think this is of the utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was the bellboy handed off. Well, let's see. I think it was... no. If you remember, please add it to your testimony. Yes, sir. If I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue. A wooden statue? Could it be? Is it what it is? Is this what it is? But that's not good for me though, because then I have to see where I found it, and if I say that I found it at the mansion of the defendant, my client, that's not gonna be good. What was the point of that pregnant pause? Where did that objection come from? Well, speak up. It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show this. Me too. Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix, deep breath. We're gaining time here. Mr. Powers, the something you saw, was it this item? Oh, hey, that's it. That's the something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out. I recall we found this at Matt Engard's mansion. At the defendant's house? What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shayla the killer assassinated Juan Correa in his room, and then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Then the bear being found at Mr. Engard's mansion would mean... It goes without saying, Your Honor. Mr. Matt Engard is the killer's client. Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you. Yeah... Sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I almost forgot that he knew about it too. I think it is clear that there is no need for us to continue this trial. I can't let that happen. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute please. Yes, Mr. Wright, there are still a few points left that we have not fully explored. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further? Well, we have no reason to doubt the testimony. And the bear, I'm curious because we still don't know exactly what that bear is. Whether it is something incriminating or if it is and then the person who received the bear, we're still unsure who that is. There was one thing in Mr. Powers' testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear. Give something to the person inside the room. I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. As long as we don't know who it was that took the bear, we can't be sure of... What is it? Remembered something again? What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're going to scream like that, then at least give us a good reason why. Oh, yeah, sorry. Actually, so I remembered. I remember who took the bear. What? Really? I mean, I only saw his arm, but the arm, it was the Nickel Samurai's arm. I swear it. You've got to be kidding. Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers? Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai. But as we've already established, that could have been someone else in the costume. Order! Order! It looks like you've dug your own grave yet again. How many times is that today? I've lost count. So the person who took in this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. I actually don't know. Matt Engard is the Nickel Samurai. Thanks to the defense, we've made that all the clearer. What am I supposed to do now? Mia, help! You don't have time to act like that. You've got to find another angle to attack this from. Hurry! Now, I will break this cross-examination. Hold it! Your Honor, again, Mr. Wright, we've already removed any and all questionable areas of this testimony. It's about time you were removed from this court, Mr. Wright. I have to find something. Even one more little point will do. There are still questions left unanswered. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further? Well, I was wondering about the bear itself earlier. I'll save, but it is a bit weird. I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is very questionable. The bear, Mr. Wright? This was found at Mr. Engard's mansion. However, Mr. Engard was arrested at the hotel that night. Which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home. Oh, I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to say. It is not possible that it was Mr. Engard who took this bear to his mansion. Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There was no way, time-wise, for the defendant to have taken this bear home. Disaster was avoided. But there's an objection. You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Engard's mansion. We had this area completely surrounded. There is no way for him to escape. I can't believe it. That butler, all this time, he was the killer. The killer and Engard were working together, so to speak, and the killer was hiding at Engard's mansion as its butler. What a bold move. The bear figurine was brought back to Engard mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Engard had him do so. But if that's the case, well, I know my client is guilty already, but there's still something really weird. Why would he give Matt Engard the bear? And then, how did the bear after that find its way to his home? I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. This is too much. Isn't there anything I can attack at all? I think we've heard enough. We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion, as well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his prison. Everything has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Matt Engard. I see no reason for this trial to continue. Therefore, I will now hand out my verdict. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you could not win against the truth, could you? I knew it would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has stated is the truth. And last objections, Mr. Wright. Well, what should I do? Well, I can't simply hear the verdict, can I? I'll save once again before I try that out, but there's not much else I can do.
Objection! You're gonna have to excuse me.
There is only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is this one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at Mr. Engard mansion. However, it's possible that this is all the work of a certain other person. What are you saying? What am I saying? What I am saying is, it's possible a different person is the killer's real client. The real client? Yes. Is this all you have? Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who do you say is the killer's real client and therefore the real murderer? Well, that's what makes the most sense to me, so I will go with this one. Adrian Andrews? Yes, we already know that she tried to frame Matt Engard for the crime by wearing a spare nickel samurai costume. Then the nickel samurai's armor that I saw. That could have very well been Miss Andrews. But what about Mr. Engard? If you would please recall yesterday's testimony. The defendant was taking a nap during the break period. That's right. Then, finding this figure at Mr. Engard's mansion, it was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this? I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic, besides which there is no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. What is with this trial? I can't believe the defense would go so far as to pin the guilt onto someone else. Yeah, unbelievable. Blah, blah, blah. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me, this is one fight I can't give up on. Order! 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 All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom. Your Honor, for the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with this what-if game. Is what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered. Why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? He's right. The killer did specially bring that bear to Engard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews. And who would that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself. Oh, we're gonna have her back again? I see. Well, then the court will take a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time. Yes, Your Honor. Ha ha ha. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage. Don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you'd try to pin the guilt onto Adrian. I swear this demon will pay. Mr. Nick! Pearls, where's Mia? I don't know. A really strong power suddenly called her away. A really strong power? Oh, Mr. Nick, your phone it's from Gumshoe. How's it going? Have you been hanging in there, pal? Yeah, sort of. We just barely found something to latch onto. That's good, pal. And what about you? Anything yet? You figured out where the killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We don't have any more time! If we just had one, even a single clue would be really helpful. Well, the cats or something. No, oh no, that was when he was, at the Engard's mansion, yeah. Well, okay, fair enough. That wouldn't work then. I was only able to come this far because I kept thinking to myself, I've got to keep the trial going until Maya's been rescued, but have I just run out of luck this time? Is all our hope for naught? A tent! Huh? A tent? I could see a circus tent. Mia! Looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away. She's locked in the dusty little room right now. But I could see a circus tent outside the window about 300 feet away. Gumshoe, is there a circus in town right now? There's only one, pal, the Berwick Circus. Maya is somewhere within a 300-foot radius of the main tent. What? Okay, hold on a sec, pal. Well, block all the streets or, I don't know how to say it. Stop all the traffic or something. I could see a mailbox under the window just outside. Gumshoe, there's also a mailbox. Okay, what else? What else, Mia? I'm sorry, but it was a very small window. I couldn't see anything else. It felt like I was in an old office building, maybe the 3rd floor or so. I heard her. An old office building. Good stuff, pal. Okay, just hang in there. Just a little longer, pal. Wish us luck. Good luck. I'll call you later, so don't let your battery die, okay, pal? Mia, Maya's not hurt, right? She's in a pretty bad state, Phoenix. She's being starved. Well, she hasn't had any burger to eat for like a whole day, pretty much. Well, more than one day, in fact. Because there was the first day of the trial. Yeah, in 2 days, essentially. Yeah, no burgers for 2 days. In fact, after 2 days, I would be more worried about being dehydrated if she didn't have anything to drink. Unless she was, like, downing the bottles of wine in the wine cellar that she was locked into before. But dehydration is much more of a concern when you, I mean, more so than, like, not being able to eat. You can go longer without eating than you can without drinking any water. Or any fluid, anyway. Looks like we're out of time. Are you alright, Phoenix? It's only a matter of time before Maya's rescued. I can do this. I just have to make this trial last a little longer. Let's hope so. Court will now reconvene. The killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to his client. From this, one obvious question arises. Why this particular item? I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the name of the real culprit. Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of murder. I understand. Very good. Now, have you ever seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? Of course I have. You have seen it before? That's right. It's only natural that the witness has. Miss Andrews, could you please enlighten the court to this bear's secrets? Alright. Why does she... Well, if she found the body and then she donned the costume to cross the hallway and go back into the room where Matt was asleep, then the killer had already brought that figurine inside at that time, right? If he did right after killing the Juan Corrida, and then she found the dead body later on, then she may have seen it inside the room. Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. That doesn't tell us where you saw it. Anyway, yes, looks can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree? Yes, this is super craftsmanship. Oh, yes, I nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. It looks like there really was something to that bear after all. I can barely contain my excitement. Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. How do you know about that, by the way? A puzzle. That's right. But it looks like an ordinary figurine. True enough, to people who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess that this was a puzzle. So what kind of puzzle is this exactly? If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. So you can take it apart, and how would one go about doing that? Well, you first turn its tail to the right and push it in. Oh, yes, I see. After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed. Oh, this is most interesting. A boy and his new toy. It's like he's 5 all over again. Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on. I think he's lost it. So what do you find after you take the puzzle apart? At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. Hold on. I already pressed on that one, I think. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. How does she know about this? I know because I was the one who bought it. Huh? It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland. Then this was a present from you. That's right, it was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for Juan. So it was a present from Miss Andrews. Witness, let's continue with your testimony. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. So who exactly knew how to solve this puzzle? Only the two of us, Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland. So I doubt there are that many people with the same bear in this country. But this looks like it can be easily broken, especially if someone wanted to get at what's inside. Well, it's a toy, but it can never be the same again once it's been broken. Okay. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container or jewelry box? Well, she just said so, right? I never told anyone, and as long as Juan never told anyone either, then only the two of us know. The two of you, huh? And of course that means Mr. Engards didn't know, right? I think this is about all I'm going to get for now. Figurine updated in the court record. I don't like that smug face. I think even you have come to realize that there is one very important fact we have uncovered, and that is this. This bear is actually a jewelry box. Now that we have agreed to this point, there is only one logical question that can come next, and that is this. What is inside this box? What's inside? That's right, that's what we are going to find out next, witness. Yes? You are the only one who can open this. Please. There's a painful silence in the room. All eyes are on Miss Andrews now as she solves the puzzle and takes the bear apart. I've opened it. Is this what you wanted? What is that? It looks like a note. It might be the suicide note, isn't it? I don't think we need to guess at what that is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note. Well, yeah, I figured as much. The suicide note. The suicide note left by Juan Correda's former manager, Celestine Pax. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden by the victim, Juan Correda himself. It seems Celestine Pax had a very beautiful handwriting, and she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is most definitely the note she left right before she committed suicide. Order! Witness, did you know about this? Yes, I did. I heard all about it from Juan. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before I went before it became public, sorry. But I couldn't find it anywhere, because it had already been taken by the killer. Everything is going at Mr. Edward's pace. So now that the suicide note has been found, what's the next logical question? What is written on the note? That's right, at least that's what I would think. Now then, I believe it is only appropriate the contents of this note to be made known. I can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it. And I was going to burn it, for her sake. I'm deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to persuade me to stop. Your Honor, if you could please read the contents of the note aloud. Very well. The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her note, Celestine Pax left us a record of all that had happened to her, about being used and then thrown away by Engard, about being engaged to Correda, and Engard's role in destroying that, and about how she decided in her despair to end it all. And that's all Miss Impact had to say. There is one thing I would like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. Engard. Then what? Our intention, Your Honor, is to establish a motive for murder. Isn't that correct, witness? Yes, on the night of the murder, Juan was going to make a statement in public, whatever. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference. My word! Matt Engard's values above all else is refreshing like a spring breeze image. Which is why he had to stop this note from being made public. At any cost. So the suicide note headed to the court record. Yeah, it tells Vanguard's horrible misdeeds. Yeah, okay. It's Vanguard's fault that woman killed herself. Oh, terrible, what a selfish person. I guess there are slime ball lawyers out there who will defend these creeps too. There is no room for doubt here. Mr. The killer's client's goal was to obtain the suicide note, and the only person who needed this note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with the note inside was found at the defendant's house. It seems that we have come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone. How am I supposed to escape from this one? Find something that will raise his popularity again? Or something like that? Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you must do. I know. I have to carry on and buy him some time. Some more time. Okay, there are two deadly pieces of evidence, the figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of the situation through one of those. The gavel is ready in the judge's hand, Phoenix, hurry, and I should save before that, because if I don't pick the right thing... Suicide note or the figurine? Which one of these should I pursue? Objection! Please wait, Your Honor. Oh man, look at that lawyer. He's still going at it. It's like he doesn't care that he's trying to get a killer off the hook. I think Your Honor believes that Matt Engard killed in order to obtain this note. Yes, that is correct, but that seems a little strange. In fact, I think there is a contradiction here. This note was hidden by Mr. Corrida until the night of the murder. If that is the case, I say that Matt Engard could not have known what was written on this note. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Exactly, but I did think of it that way, and I thought it was rather strange. No one in their right mind would kill for a note without first knowing what it said. I guess you have a point. Order! 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 You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? It was just a flash, but I think I did rather well on this one. Unfortunately, I think he believes differently. I believe a show of appreciation is in order. Huh? The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon itself. I would like to direct the court's attention to this. What is that? It is a very small video camera, Your Honor. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying. Spying? What the? I thought that spy camera was in my possession. Matt Engard and the victim both thought of the other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses. And the victim, Juan Corrida, was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt Engard. Order! Order! Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? You, don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities. Well, sort of. Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright. I see you are confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking that I had the camera that was in the stuffed bear's eye. But this camera that I have is not that same one. Last night, I searched the victim's house on a hunch, using this Gumshoe's buck sweeper. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera. Matt Engard's fingerprints were on there? Well, Phoenix, it looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? What if I tried to use my knife to, like, open every piece of ceiling or something to take them out? That wouldn't have worked then. What am I supposed to say to that evidence? I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Mr. Engard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. He got me good this time. I don't have anything to counter that. Hey, now what am I thinking? Mommy? Is that man the bat killer guy? Shush, stop, don't look at him. Phoenix. Yes, Chief, have you figured out what you're going to do next? What I'm going to do next? Does running away like a frightened child work? I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting the lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one very important thing. Well, what is it, Mia? There was a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. Something he should investigate? I would really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had the chance. Why are you speaking in riddles all of a sudden? Alright, I think this time we finally understand everything. Well, Mr. Wright, you don't have any further objections, do you? What is this piece of evidence that Mia is talking about? Can I figure out what it is that still needs to be looked at, or should I let it go? Maybe if I did, have a look through this? Well, we haven't read it. We still don't know. I mean, for him to have a motive for killing, then the letter had to have something really bad about Matt Engard, which has always been assumed so far. But how about we read it for a change? I have an objection, Your Honor. That was about the weakest objection I've ever heard, Mr. Wright. Objection! Your Honor, the defense has no intention of letting this go so easily. You are beginning to sound like desperate. That's just your imagination, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, this is not like you at all. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Hey, isn't that what I just said? So you're telling me that I forgot something. You're so close, Mr. Edgeworth. But there's something you really should examine about this piece of evidence. Take that! That is Miss Impax's suicide note, right? Who knows? Yeah, actually, yeah. Have we actually made sure that this is what it was? Maybe it's a grocery list or something. You can't just like wave a sheet of paper around and say, oh yeah, this is the famed suicide note in this case, and then not even letting us read it or anything. I mean, sure, this suicide note, quote unquote, was found inside this bear, but this bear was in my possession until only a few moments ago. Which means the handwriting on this suicide note has yet to be analyzed. Oh, so as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impax or not, that has yet to be even remotely confirmed. Aha! Good going, Phoenix. Mr. Wright, you can't seriously be... Mr. Wright, you are saying the suicide note is a fake? Miss Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. Engard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into this bear? Plus, she's the only person alive who knows how to open it, isn't it? Isn't she? If it was only Juan and her. So she had a way to put it inside and, like, unlike anyone else. How dare you? Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There is no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever. I just proved the contrary, but if this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. Recall the witness's testimony concerning this figurine. The only person other than the victim who could solve the puzzle is the witness herself. How many pairs of glasses is that again? That was 6, I believe. So that's 7 now. Okay, she's on to her 7th. 3 more to go. You wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Matt Engard. I did no such thing. Right, if you are going to pronounce a suicide note a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory. Do I have to? Mr. Edgeworth, you were the one who presented this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, the prosecution. Well, it's not that I want my clients to be declared not guilty in this case, but at least we're making time. We're delaying the ending. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting on this suicide note? It is as the defense has stated, the handwriting has yet to be analyzed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we have reached a point where a verdict is impossible. That's impossible! This isn't good, Phoenix. The judge is going to carry this trial over one more day. I don't think Maya will physically be able to make it another day. Yeah, I didn't want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I request that both the prosecution and defense further investigate. Handwriting and glasses. Engard is guilty. Look, any idiot can tell you that. I think we've reached the end of the line. Guilty! 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 They're out for his blood. What is that sound? It's Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe? What is with him and what's with that sigh? Where's Maya? What happened to the killer? He got away. What? I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say besides I'm sorry. I wish there was some way to make it up to you. I really do. Anyway, what's going on? We found this hideout, pal, but the two of them were already gone. Oh, no. Ah, come on. This is terrible. I'm going to keep looking for them, pal. Don't you worry. I just need a little more time, but don't tell me we don't have any more. Guilty! Guilty! Do you hear that? They're calling for his head. Mr. Wright, I can't for us to come this far and... Oh! What is it? Let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. I can't do that. We're in the middle of a... Would you please get a hold of yourself? We're in the middle of a... We're in the middle of a trial here. Yes, Your Honor. I am about to enter these proceedings. You may take your phone calls after. Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch. Throwing the phone? Or it's suggested at any rate. Mr. Edgeworth, please, you've got to buy us some more time. Court is in session. I'm sorry, Your Honor. You were saying, Mr. Wright, this is a court of law. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I am reluctant to do this. However, it appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow. This time I really can't do anything. Court is now adjourned for today. Objection! Somehow I knew this was coming. Please wait, Your Honor. Edgeworth. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time. For what purpose? We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time. But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes? I believe we can, Your Honor. But wouldn't it be better if we adjourned for today and then reconvene tomorrow? How can that judge be so lax? 30 minutes, please, Your Honor. That's all I am asking for. Please, Your Honor. Very well. At the prosecution's request, this court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised that I will not allow another recess today. I'm not sure if this is helping or hurting us. The court will now take its final recess of the day. Yeah, because that's already the second one. What time is it? Right, well, what's going on with my situation? The killer, it looks like he got away again. 30 minutes, we can't find her in that time. Report! Is that Mr. Edgeworth? We don't have time, just spit it out. Right, it looks like we just missed them, sir. But the killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away. A few things? Can we use any of them as evidence? Oh, I thought you'd ask, pal. I've got the things he left with me right now and I'm on my way over. Really? That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first. We don't have time to wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swapped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I've got to put the law on hold for now. Sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in too much trouble over this. With my hunk of junk car, I'd say I'll be there in about 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Alright, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling out all the stops and running every red light. Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something among them that will be decisive enough to end this. What was that? What was that? Hey, what's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me. No one can stop me. What happened? It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What was he thinking? We've got to hurry and call for help. But we have no idea where he is. His cell phone is broken. He wasn't driving the patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get to those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let that happen. Well, if there is a way we can find out where he is, then we stand a chance. Why? Oh, why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident now? Is there any way to find out exactly where he is at this moment? I'm not entirely sure. Is there a way? Well, because I'm hopeful that there is. That's right, there is a way. What? How? I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. Hold on. I think I know what he's referring to. The thing that she has that rings every time she's close by. Ah, yeah, because he has a tracker on him. Yeah, she mentioned that. I almost forgot about this. So is that it? Is that her? She has him bugged. So, why are you bringing up Francisca at a time like, oh, I see. I'll try to get in contact with her. Chances are slim, but she's all we have. Well, would she be willing to help? I guess if it means declaring my client guilty, yeah, she might be willing. Edgeworth, what is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty. But what I'm doing now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say defense attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears. Whether you did your job well or not, that can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict. Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff. There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. I have to go take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. You bet your ass I want to save. March 23rd. Blah, blah, blah. I need something to drink because I haven't been drinking for a while, so... Just a second. Alright. Actually, I still had some coffee in front of me. All cooled down already, but anyway. Controller, court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready? Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I can understand the defense acting like this. However, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? That is, it's nothing, Your Honor. What's wrong with Edgeworth? It looks like something unexpected just happened to him. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of the handwriting analysis on Miss Impax's suicide note. Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. What? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impax herself. It is a fake. Is this true, or is he lying to me to gain time for my sake and Maya's? Order! Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this was not written by Miss Impax, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do a more detailed analysis, however. It appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida. Mr. Corrida? Well, it looks like Miss Impax never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about Engard. However, Your Honor, even though the suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. Engard could not have known that, and so that fact's... That fact, yeah, there's a spelling error there. That fact remains unchanged, right? Yeah, there's an S that jumped from one word to the other there somehow. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. And that does sound very plausible. This theory that Engard had no idea that the suicide note was fake. Something seems a little wrong with it. Maybe present evidence. The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. Engard to not have known it was a fake. I can't back down. I should have saved before I did that. I don't know, I have no idea, I'm totally grasping. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, your response? I believe that even more important than finding out if this note is real or not is whether the attorney's badge pinned to that man's chest is real. That is the million-dollar question. Uh-oh. Yes, I agree. Me too. Ah, shit, I got a penalty for this. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that I messed up again. Actually, there is something I would like to ask. Mr. Edgeworth, you had stated something earlier to the effect of the defendant had spied on Mr. Koreda's private life. Oh, maybe I should have shown the camera then. I believe this would mean that he would have known about the note as well. That's it. Well, the judge has actually come to the conclusion that I was supposed to come to myself. Yes, and so naturally, this means Mr. Engard would have known that the note was a fake. Yeah, but you could argue that he could have forged the fake suicide note at any other time before the time during which he was being spied on. In my opinion, anyway. Order, order. See here, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I was the one who thought of the spying thing. Jumping in and stealing my thunder like that is simply... I can't even describe it. Yes. Sorry. I could have even bragged about embarrassing Mr. Edgeworth to my grandchild, had you not. For that, I assigned you a penalty, Mr. Wright. Hey! Hey! What? If only I had kept my mouth shut. Shit. But I can't afford too many more mistakes now. Unless I want to reload my save file and redo the whole thing all over again, but I don't even really feel like doing that right now. So then the defendant knew the suicide note was a fake, and if that's true, then the situation has suddenly changed in a very dramatic way. Exactly, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. Engard's motive for murder was, it has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But, Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. Engard monitored Mr. Koreda 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote a note in a place Mr. Engard didn't know of. Well, that's kind of what I was going at earlier. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Well, he can't prove it either, yeah. Well, neither one thing or the other can be proven, so... Order, order, order. Mr. Edgeworth, it looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured. Huh? As you figured? As I figured, it came down to this after all. Mr. Edgeworth, you are not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? Next, if the prosecution can't prove Mr. Engard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. Well, I agree with you there, Your Honor. The prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. Oh, well, that's fine. However, this witness is a little unusual. Wait, what? Edgeworth stuttering? This is not like him at all. Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth? This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley the killer to commit murder. That's impossible! Who in the... No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. Who is this witness? It's Yes, go on. Who is it? The man himself, Mr. Shelley the killer. Oh, Mr. the killer. Wait! Shelley the killer? Hey, wait, what's going on here? You mean the killer? I mean the assassin? Yes, Your Honor. He's coming here to the witness stand? Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright. Yes, is this alright with you? Do I have a choice here? I can't really do much else to drag this trial out. The defense has no objections, Your Honor. I wonder if it really is alright to do this. Very well then, the prosecution calls its witness to the stand. Edgeworth, is there no other way left to us? But, how did he manage to find him? Your name and your, occupation, please. Oh. What the heck? Wait, is it really him? My name is Shelley the Killer, and I am a professional assassin. I say, what is going on here, Your Honor? How can you remain so calm, and what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. the Killer will testify to this court. So this must be what that urgent phone call he got earlier was about. Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is really Mr. the Killer himself. Witness, please present some sort of proof that you are in fact Shelley the Killer. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya! A voice? Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley the Killer. It looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness. There is one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Correa, is this correct? It is as you say, I did indeed kill Mr. Correa. Now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Very well, this is all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it, a bad dream. Shelley the Killer, what is he going to say? They're holding Maya so I can prove him not guilty, and then he's gonna say to the court that my client is guilty? There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between the client and himself. And that is the reason I am here today on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Okay, so he's not actually testifying to who it is just yet. I must say, Mr. the Killer seems to be a clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. the Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about this, yeah, I protect my client. Yeah, whatever. It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examine what? There is nothing to cross-examine. There is no way to know what's coming next. So stay cool and collected, Phoenix. And save the game before anything else. Yeah, cause I have no idea where this is going. Okay. Yeah, I just did. There's something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between the client and himself. The trust between you and your client? I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome, and that is why you're testifying in this manner. This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the killer name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did, yes, that person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly... that's enough, please no more. Very well, it was only a hypothetical anyway. And that is the reason I am here today on this witness stand. But, if I wanted to, I could simply show the camera to him, right? On the second statement, but maybe this is a bit premature. That seems like a little strange. That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of their prescribed role. Their role? This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves, and this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. You... Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke just now, excuse me, but would you care to die? No, I didn't say anything. The judge had better watch himself. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give you the name of my client. You understand, so please tell us the name of your client. I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things to say before I do. That egomaniacal. It's no good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you. Somehow that coming from an assassin makes it less that comforting. That's exactly what I was thinking. I don't really care about all this extra stuff. Just tell us the name already. Patience. Try to calm down a little. It's important to try and understand his mindset. I'm thinking about Maya, so please don't smile like that when your sister is about to die. He seems very steadfast and closed, so you're going to have to work to get him to talk. I'm not his therapist, you know. Well, I've already pressed him about that. These are the roles and duties an assassin and his client are to carry out. I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. Oh, yeah, because I think, yeah, wasn't that different? You said that your client had already broken the rules. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that's why you feel you can betray this person? I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role. Just my luck. An assassin with a conscience. Who would have figured? Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic? This case just keeps getting better and better. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Everyone understands your point, I think, really. In that case, I believe I am prepared to disclose the information you seek. You have made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready. Why are you still holding Maya then? Let her go! And that is the reason I am here today on this witness stand. Tell us then. That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. Yeah, but you already said that. It does matter to me. This client has already broken the rules, and yeah. You already said that. Yeah, you already said that. Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? Yeah, no, okay. You already said that. I do believe it is about time. Yeah, go on, yeah. What is it? Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness. What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida? That person's name is... Adrian Andrews. What? Witness! That's not who you told me it was earlier. Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. What? This can't be. On the phone earlier. What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. the Killer just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. But it all seemed so weird, so I guess, yeah, he is still protecting his true client. As part of the trust or whatever that he talked about earlier. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back. I'm sure in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. the Killer told him a different name. Matt Engard, perhaps? I knew it. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. But you were the one who summoned this witness. You, Shelley the Killer. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt Engard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. Wow, all of a sudden it feels like we can actually win this. Yeah. The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided the suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is possibility that the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. the Killer's client who requested the murder was not the defendant at all. No. With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means that Mr. Matt Engard is innocent. I seem to have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict. Beep. Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately. What now? With the way this is going, Engard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And Engard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this? Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? Your Honor, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shelley the Killer is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please. That testimony just now, it was all one big lie. It's Andrews. The suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, his reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. That testimony just now, you have to believe me, it was a horrible, horrible lie. But Mr. the Killer himself has testified. He has named you as his client. No, that's not true. Also, there is quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and button, donning the nickel samurai costume. But that's... You even have a motive? We know that Miss Celeste Impacts was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want both of them dead. No, Mr. Wright. You know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story, who the real killer is. Tell them. Please, help me. Yes, I know the truth. Save. Save. I don't like where this is going. Yes, Your Honor. I believe we have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya, or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? He could kill Maya if I don't take it, but Maya clearly said that I had to get a guilty verdict. Phoenix, I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept the not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know, but But Matt Engard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I am no better than Engard. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gotten Engard, yeah, blah blah blah, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust. I never thought about it until now. I trust him? Yes, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion, please. The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. the Killer. Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? Right. But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I am not done yet. To see through witnesses' lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at, and I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Very well, the trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. the Killer. Right away, Your Honor. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to talk with you a little more. About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are, unusually done. Well, if you wanted to like get proof that it was really him, because if there's a lie in how he says that things happened, then that puts his testimony in question. Like we could say, like, for example, well, you're not really Shelley the Killer because you would have known how the murder really happened if you were, right? What is he talking about? Usually done. But what shall we have him testify about now, Mr. the Killer? If you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Corrida was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. This is a most unexpected turn of events for the, 5th time now. However, this time everything has finally been revealed. Objection! Just a second, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, we still have the cross-examination to do, but you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, the defense will question the witness, as if I have a choice here. Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony then I'll expose the lies in that so beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes two of us. About my client, Part 2. As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However... hold on. What is it, Mr. Wright? If I press him the wrong way, it might raise suspicions on his hands. But I have to do something to waste more time. Witness, about requesting a hit. Yes? How much is your fee? I see you are also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney, huh? If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial. No. Mr. Wright. Yes. You want to kill me. You want me dead, don't you? What? Why would you think? Guilty, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You are hereby declared guilty. Witness, let's continue. Why did you disclose the name of your client? They are your client, are they not? One thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime. Yeah, hold on. Let me press on those too because I don't know where I'm going, so... I would think that most people wouldn't be able to overlook a person hiring another to kill. If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job. Yeah, well, a change in occupation might be good for you. However, I will say this. Even though I am the one that does the deed, my clients are always the real guilty party. That goes without saying, Mr. the Killer, and their fate is to live with the knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. However, my client this time thought that they could run away from their guilt. My client did it to frame another for the crime. Are you talking about the button and the knife? Yes, and my business card. Oh, this card, so that no one has to waste their time, including the police. I always make it a point to make things as easy as possible. You try to make things easy, my business card makes it very easy to identify who carried out the service. He's pretty devoted to his work, and it is actually true that Adrian Andrews picked the card from the scene of the crime. She said so herself, so... But to disregard everything to go and stab the deceased with a knife and even hide my card from sight, that is something I cannot overlook. It's really hard to tell if he's being truthful or not without him being here. While pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Yeah, right. So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such a thing? That is correct. Usually, most people try to create an alibi for themselves. If you should use my services, Mr. Attorney, I would suggest you plan for your alibi too. No, I already told you I have no intention of using your services ever. Why does he keep looking at me like I'm the one on trial here? Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Corrida was dead. From the very beginning? That is correct. From before my client visited the room, all of my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. I wonder if that's really true. That's odd. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. So why do you think your client did that? What do you mean by why? Well, fiddling around at the scene of the crime is pretty risky, and why would someone who had requested a murder go to the crime scene anyway? That is true. I assume it was probably done to frame Mr. Engard. If that's the case, then why didn't the person just request that you do it? Sadly, that is not possible. Huh? My job is to kill, that is all, and to leave my business card behind, naturally. The business card is so my clients may escape blame. To protect them is my duty. Even if they say it's for revenge, sending someone else up to take your fall. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. And that's all you have to testify? Yes, and I pray that I will never be called to the stand again. Again, as in you plan to continue? I must, as I have yet to find the person to take my place and become the fourth successor. Actually, how would you like a new life, Mr. Attorney? Excuse me? No, I'm fine, really. Oh, you really now? I wonder what kind of man that just thinks I am now. What are you going to do now, Phoenix? All I can do now is expose the lies. That's true. However, you realize that would be very bad for our client, right? I'm so confused. Me too, to be frank. But the one thing I know for sure is I can't let this trial end yet. Well, there was something that was bugging me here. The reaction of Edgeworth at the end. It's that one. No, sorry. From the very beginning. That is correct. From before my client visited the room, all of my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. I wonder if that's really true. Yeah. There's something here. And I think I know what it is. But I want to say it before I present anything. Because part of the reason before we proved that... Part of the reason that it was proven before in court that she didn't know when she went in was that she poured herself a glass of juice. So, thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. the Killer. What is the meaning of that attitude? When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Corrida had been murdered. But how? How do you know that? From this wine glass, Your Honor. The glass? Mr. The killer's supposed client through Mr. Kurita had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That is not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would never have left their fingerprints behind. I see your point, Mr. Edgeworth. What is your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Kurita's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. How strange. Yes? Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble. Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Sorry? Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you. Anyway, I am positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken. Very well. Right now I have to buy us more time. Quick, Gumshoe! Get to the courthouse already! Yeah, but that's exactly what I had in mind. Well, I haven't forgotten about this. I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. This is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes. So you physically met your client, huh? That is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. I find it a bit odd that he would meet his clients in person, because that means he shows his face to his clients, right? What if, for example, a cop was contacting him about requesting his services under the guise of being a normal person, and then he would just present himself? Isn't that super dangerous for him? It's this one that I'm wondering about. So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right? Of course I did. What was that? What was with the brief pause? What if we asked him about what she looks like, for example? Oh, but he would have seen her in a... Oh, but no, because the tabloids only referred to her as a... What? She is the manager of a really big star, so maybe he already knows what she looks like. Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details. I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I have never taken a request by telephone or mail. And why is that? That's because I value the trust between the client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? Since I am allowed to save before making a pick, I suppose if they're asking me the question, maybe it was, but I don't know how important it is. Of course it was very important, Your Honor. If Mr. the Killer had met his client before the murder, then it's unlikely he is mistaken. So you're saying that his client really was Adrian Andrews? I guess so. You see, it's just as I said. I'm so lost. Who the heck am I supposed to be helping here? Calm down, Phoenix. Think carefully and relax. It feels like this is not what I was supposed to say. Let me at the very least check what the other one does. Why he meets his clients is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions. What do you mean by that? What? Oh, because he actually didn't really answer the question in the way that Phoenix meant it. Oh, okay. I have already told you, Mr. Wright. I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. Him? Him? What? I mean, it is true that Adrian can be a name for a man as well as a woman. Yeah, to be fair. But for him to make that mistake here, that's when I thought I can trust this person as a client. It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, this time I think, if I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance. Yeah, he said him. That was weird there, right? Wasn't it? Witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. And then I present the profile of Adrian Andrews. I'm gonna save before I do that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. Oh, I actually never noticed I had these two in my inventory. Oh well. I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time. Yes, that is correct. And that's when you thought he was trustworthy? How many times must I repeat myself, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale. What? Shelley the killer. You have never met the real Adrian Andrews. Why would you say that? Because you made one very big slip up about her. So what is the issue? What did you say just now about her? If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, you could not have mistaken her for a man. She has a very sizable and noticeable arguments about her gender. One look would have told you that she is a woman. Or a very convincing she-male, but whatever. You could not have thought that she was a man anyway. Order in the court, Mr. Wright. What is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following. That he always meets face to face with his clients and taking their requests. But he has never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. the Killer's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews. What, the radio is sweating oil or something? Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor. Her name? Yes, Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name, yeah. Yes, I see. Unluckily for Mr. the Killer, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender. And so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. What? What is going on? Shelley the Killer, this court demands an explanation. I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more. I know he's just going to spit out more lies. Yeah, but you made him nervous, so his lies are going to get less and less convincing. Very well, but this time please give us the truth and nothing but the truth. Request taking, part 2. Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Corrida, and 2 or 3 other small things. Hmm? When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. So you took this job through a letter. He didn't mention anything about the letter in his earlier testimony. Plus, he was seen... Well, yeah, but we've still not really... Yeah, the thing about, like, the exchange, like, the tip, the really fat tip or something. Oh, but no, it was really, what was his name again? Well, Matt Engard, my client, who gave the really big tip, so... He didn't mention anything about the letter in his earlier testimony, which means he is definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me. No matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Now then, let's begin the cross-examination. You just said the contrary before. But didn't you just say that you always meet your clients? Yes, I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients from whom a meeting is simply not possible. But didn't you meet your client this time? No, I did not. Oh, come now. Let's stop with this game of cat and mouse. Using your silkiest voice is not going to work on me. Alright then, just cough it up and confess. Mr. Wright, you can't badger a witness with such harsh words. You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Now then, do you have any proof that Mr. the Killer met with his client? No, I don't. I'm sorry, Your Honor, unfortunately I don't have any proof. Yeah, your line of questioning was just another waste of time. Sadly for us, Your Honor, that is the nature of Phoenix Wright. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. He's just saying the same thing that he said before. What are these 2 or 3 other small things? Yes, and what are these other things? A few other things that had nothing to do with this case. What should I do? Should I let him slide with that? It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad. But let's press further anyway. I saved before anyway. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney. Yes, everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client? Oh. That's... I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one... Wait, uh-oh, this is looking really bad. I shouldn't press my luck. Alright, I have to think this is worth pursuing. But... I saved before, so if everything goes wrong, I can still reload, but, Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Corrida's suitcase. And then, what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client? Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony. As you wish. But why would she request it? She knew where it was. She could have gotten it any old time before. That doesn't make any sense. She knew about it and she knew how to open it. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it. Yeah, well, so that, yeah. If she wanted the thing so bad. Huh. This item, I see where you're going. Yup, that's where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. And I was going to burn it for her sake. If even for a single minute this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. Order, order, order! So that's where you two were going. So by the very fact that the suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. Which means... It means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client. Oh! How many times is that thing going to explode and reform itself? Mr. Phoenix, Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before, how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement. No, that's enough. That is your intention, that there is only one thing for me to do. Wait, please. Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to. Hold it! No, please, not that. Please wait. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end or I may stay my hand. And I may stay my hand, otherwise... So nerve-wracking. What in the... Mr. Wright, are you? Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony or is this enough? Well, we should. Edgeworth, we can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... Prosecution, what has come over everyone? Even you are. Prosecution rests. What is going on around here? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. If the prosecution rests with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. the Killer's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Chili the Killer's client is Adrian Andrews. There is no good outcome to this. Gumshoe, hurry up. If I end the trial here right now, then your client Matt Engard would be declared innocent, and in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. Miss Andrews would be charged with murder. The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant Matt Engard to the stand. The items from the killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. But something tells me this is not over. I can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hands. Dude, did the old guy finally decide? To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. Huh. So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out. Mr. Engard, what an atrocious lawyer I have, giving his own client up like this. And that refreshing like a spring grease crap is just as atrocious, don't you agree? Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer? Should I side with justice or should I save Maya's life? I don't want to choose. You'd better get Engard a guilty sentence, okay? But if I did that, Maya will die. But if I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged as a murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is going to end. It all hinges on what I choose. Let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matt Engard, is innocent. There is no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer is going to say what I want, aren't you? Right. I can't do this. But I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence. My client, Matt Engard, is... Well, if I have to pick... Well, I like Maya more, and I think Maya is purer at heart than the other person is who tried to frame Matt Engard, even though she didn't really need to because he was really the bad guy. But if I have to pick, it's Maya that I want to save. If I really have to pick, and it seems that I have to. We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Engard, your client deserves an answer. Maya, I'm sorry. Matt Engard is... Objection! Oh. Franziska von Karma has arrived to say the day. What are you doing here? Ow! You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off of that scruffy fool. Did you bring them? The final pieces? Do you have them? You should know better than to ask, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence is here and is in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy. He's fine and his injuries are minor. All of the items are inside this. It's Gumshoe's jacket. What a filthy old coat this is. That's Gumshoe's. I can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I fought long and hard this whole trial, all for what is inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure that inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence, and if there isn't, Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. Your final evidence? This trial is already over. All that remains for me is to hand out my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. What? Objection! Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. I suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honor. The killer has left, wait, what? Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That is all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? Well, I want to save on this one. More details are not needed. Well, if I do everything in my power to throw suspicion on on the killer, right? Or to reveal who he is or something like that. Maybe we can strike an agreement so that Maya is not killed in exchange for his freedom or something? That's what I'm trying to think, but okay, let's go. Let's do this. Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I can't say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me. Ah, yes, that's true. Yeah, because she was shot in the shoulder. I completely forgot about this. That's the pistol that he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. Oh. I kept the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Francisca. It's probably not going to help us very much. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. I bet the killer took that from Engard Mansion. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh yeah, but I would speculate that this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it? That's right, it looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Surely the killer is no ordinary man. Videotape added to the court record. Violently tried to recover it. The last piece of evidence is this bellboy's uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gatewater Hotel? Yeah. Was that used during the crime? I'm almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it. The killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. There's one thing I found interesting about this uniform, and what is that? There is a button missing on this uniform. A button? It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. Bellboy's uniform added to the court record. Worn by the killer on the night of the murder, one of its special buttons is missing. Hold on. That is all I have to present, Your Honor. It's just as I thought. And what is that, Your Honor? I'm sure were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shirley the Killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing. It is who is the client. Yes, that is correct, and these 3 items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now. I want to disagree. Because we have the items that the guy wants. The killer. He wants them really, really bad. We can use that as leverage for Maya's life, I should say. Well, I hope that the game is programmed in such a way that they let you use it that way. Anyway. Wait, Your Honor. Please, allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he? Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. Okay. Please let me not make a mistake here. But no matter how you think about it, it's try for my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of this situation for us. 2. The first. Make Engard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. Huh? The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If Engard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. Well, that's what I want. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible. The second way... Force the killer to end his contract with Engard. If the killer were to no longer think of Engard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia, that's even more impossible. He is a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else. Yeah, but... I mean, the guide tried to blackmail him. Engard tried to blackmail, Shelly the killer. With, if this is what I think it is, we don't know about the contents, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. This one, yeah. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think things through from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? The other side. Wait, does she mean... You mean... to turn things around? Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. Shelly the killer needs it. The defense, prosecution, and the judge. We have seen all the pieces of evidence. And that is how we have come to know the truth. But there is one person who has yet to see them all, and that person does not know the truth. That truth, it may be what will bring about the miracle in the end. Well, that was one of the ways out of this that I had been thinking of all along. But there just never was any way up to this point where it seemed like it was possible. So, now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids? Objection! I have already told you, Mr. Wright, this court does not need any more evidence. I am not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. Then, you want to show the evidence to that person? Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor, Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, I will grant you one chance. One chance? Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person. That's impossible to turn this situation around in one try. One try, that is all I will permit. I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix. Think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking Engard down at the same time. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show this evidence to? Well, I can't pick this one, can I? Just to be absolutely sure, I think it's this one. I see, and now, tell this court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. I want that person to see the videotape. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I think there is some merit in showing this evidence to that witness. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier. Alright, it looks like I managed to convince him. Maya, she's okay, right? Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence? Yes, one is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. He doesn't know what is on it. I thought so. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client not to watch it, so I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you are on this tape. Me? Wait, you mean me? There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who? Who was it that planted the camera? Well, the only person who could have placed the camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews. No. Be quiet and listen, Your Honor. Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right? Yes. That was so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why. So they could blackmail you. It was insurance. Why did Matt Engard film the crime scene? The reason why he did that is my ticket out of this whole mess. There was only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to blackmail you. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you and this is what they said. Yeah, that was at the detention center, I remember it. But I'm no weakling, I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright, assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shilly the Killer? Oh, whoa! It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks on plots of how to use the people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yes, you told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. And then, that client would become my next target. For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. Well, I haven't achieved what I would have preferred, but I think this is the right outcome, still. Like, what I was wishing he would do is simply, like, confess the name of his client. But that was perhaps asking for too much, because he still has his honor to uphold. So he would still not give his client, but he would certainly kill him if he had the chance. So instead, the other outcome that Mia was talking about is going to take place. The defendant is going to wish he was found guilty and sent to jail so that he is not out there and so that the assassin can't get to him. I mean, that's what I think is gonna happen. That's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright. Yes? My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious items. What the? I am not an item! Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness. This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I am sort of, I don't quite know. Ow! Miss One Karma, where did that... She always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict. He's not feeling too good, Mr. Engard. It looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watch this video. Help me! Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please. Is this alright with you, Mr. Wright? We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there is no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Plead whichever way your heart tells you. Right, Chief. Matt Engard. Even though I am a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here, and I think He's not gonna want to not be guilty, to be honest. Even if you got an acquittal, the instant you set foot outside the detention center, your life would be in danger, no matter which way you look at it. You're better off in prison. Can't run away from your crime anymore. No! Guilty, 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 guilty. Okay, yeah, sure. Mutilate your face as much as you want. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. I don't remember you helping out much in this. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt Engard? I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I am sure he's getting a full course meal of whip leather right about now. Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness? Yes. I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Oops, yeah, that was pretty heartless. But after that, when I was alone at the detention center, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen her smile. I am really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Well, to be honest, for a while I thought she was really guilty. Like for the first half of the case or thereabouts. Thank you so much, everyone. Looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You got them a guilty verdict this time. But you have to look past all of that to what's really important. You now realize that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Miss Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. Can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Should I side with justice or should I save Maya's life? My client, Matt Engard, is he guilty or is he not guilty? Those were your choices then. And your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right! Edgeworth! I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. Really? Pearls, you're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Mystic Maya's safe! You did it! You really did it, Mr. Nick! Ow, she punches deceptively hard for a kid. I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Thanks. Oh, what's wrong? Miss Von Karma. About earlier, thanks. Ow! Why are you still smiling, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. So was yours a long time ago. And yet you are still happy. I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry, she may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth, yeah, but given how her father was, or Papa, as she calls him, for my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts, I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remained spotless, but a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And and I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. Prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendants. But every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is to fight with the knowledge we hold in everything we have, erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch, but we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This I promise you. The truth. Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me, this man who went into hiding, isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night. Ah, is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because he believed in the things you said to me. I believed in the things you said to me all those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why 1 year ago I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I had told myself. You pathetic fool. Miss Von Karma. I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Francisca threw something on the ground just now. This is an electromagnetic receiver. Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe? I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else. Her whip! Is that Miss Von Karma's whip? I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right? Okay. The spoils of war. Nick! There she is! The hostage. Maya! Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! Let's go and have a ton of burgers. Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got Engard convicted like I knew you would, and on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course I did. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here. Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. Is it really that easy to do something like that? Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm relieved you're alright. Hey, it looks like you've made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. Well, she would be. Alright, I think it's time we got out of this depressing place. Where are we going? Food, Nick! Food! Grub! Chow! I'm starved! I'm so hungry, even you look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick. You think I look like a burger, I'm a prime rib at least. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please. If you insist. Alright, so how about we hit up our usual burger joint? Don't be silly, Nick. Huh? This case messed up that awesome evening and got in the way of my gourmet food. So I've decided we have to make it up by having another feast. Another feast? Come on, Nick. Food! She wants to go to, the hotel again? Yeah. To have another banquet. Hey, pal. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe without its trench coat. Are you alright? Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole of all things. A telephone pole? Then it wasn't a red light that got him. Yeah, I did it again, city boy. I felt like my dear old heart was gonna give out on me, and I ain't joking. Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of the Steel Samurai. Thanks. Now, looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor, don't you reckon ya bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being a lot nicer to him, he might just kick it tonight even. Ah, I'm so thirsty. I'll keep that in mind. Excuse me just a sec. Well, come on now, everyone gather round. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. Looks like Loda bought herself a new camera. Why? What about the $600 one? Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, come on. Tonight's all about eating. So let's go chow down, pal. Amen to that, pal. Amen. You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, detective. Huh? Me? You really think so? He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending. Ah, well, you know, it's, wait. That's odd. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. What? 4? Yeah, I'm sure I put one of the items in my coat pocket. There was a 4th item? Ah, come on, y'all. It's over. But who, boy? I tell ya, you really are something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped. Never a dull moment with you, huh? You think? Why does she look so happy about that? But being shut away for 2 whole days, weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. To keep my mind off of things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, gal. So where's this picture of yours? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Mystic Maya's picture. You know, I don't know where it went. Oh, that's too bad. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway. It sure is nice to finally see them both smiling again. What is it, Miss Edgeworth? This thing is picking something up. Ah, that's Miss Von Karma's receiver. Ah, thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, sir. I can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me. That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location. Oh, it's probably busted or something, sir. Was it in the trench coat? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do. Huh, but Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't even eaten anything yet. And you've eaten way too much, you glutton. No, give her some slack. She hasn't eaten anything for 2 days. I had fun tonight. Now if you'll excuse me. Wait, what? I just want to say thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, Wright. I feel like words alone aren't enough here. I wonder if there is anything I can give him to express how I feel. my badge? What could possibly be interesting to him? My badge? What's this? It's my way of saying thanks. I see. Well, it's the thought that counts. I guess I'm not very good at this showing my appreciation thing. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job. It looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya. Yes, Pearly? I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean. Pearly, would you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me. Anyway, so who's paying for this lovely dinner party? As if you need to ask. Everyone say thank you to Nick. Huh? Ah, yeah, I'm kinda at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kinda already put your name on the bill. Huh? Huh? Yeah, I got me a situation just like that myself. There was this camera shop in this hotel, see? And I just bought myself this good old beauty here that'd it'd better be anyhow for $3,000. Huh? 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 Actually, I reckon you bought it from me since it's on your tab and all. Huh? 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 Isn't this great, Mr. Nick? Yeah, Nick. Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? You don't need to be like that. Yeah, pal, time to let it all out. This is going to be the first time I hear the real you. Go on, it's been a while since I heard you say it. I've been busy being a hostage and all. Objection! Alright then, if you say so. Yeah, I felt it coming. That was objectable, to say the least. Well, I'm done with this one. You really came through for me, Nick. I had to hide that letter, but I knew you'd find it. I really feel like I've been, shoot. I mean, I've escaped that 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? I feel like a pro. Yeah, I was gonna say, so I'm done with this one. The next game I had in mind of streaming, since I just only got my Wii U back from being used by my brother and his girlfriend, I was planning on streaming Rayman Legends next, since I haven't streamed a platform game in a while. I'm playing Fire Emblem 3 Houses on the Switch at the moment. I got that to review the other day, but I'm not allowed to stream it, unfortunately. Not even like a short stream or anything. It's under embargo until I think like July 25th, I think. At least I have until then to hand in my review, and until my review is out, I can't stream it. I'm not allowed. So there you have it. I've also just been playing Dragon Quest Builders 2 as well, which I wanted to stream too, but I'm also not allowed to stream it until my review is out, and that will not be out until at the very least the 11th. That's when the embargo lifts. So the next game I intend to start will be Rayman Legends then. That's the plan anyway. This guy again. Yes. Are you here to visit a patient? I'm Director Hottie. Ho ho. Recently, yes, that girl, you know, I haven't seen her around. Yes. But I remember if I even laid so much as an eye on her, it would go crack. It didn't matter if I got whipped though. Yes. It's time to begin our quest of world circus domination, sweetie. And to let the world know we are serious, I plan to make a fabulous flight to Zimbabwe. Hey Max, what do you think Zimbabwe is like? Do you think there are castles made of cake and bunnies who can talk? I doubt that. I think if there are any talking bunnies, even they won't laugh at most jokes. There he is. I'm ready. There's no way these jokes are gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm going to be more contemporary with my humor. Mo Curls, represent. You've got in your act all worked out. Prepare for the Hallelujah chorus. Say something, will ya? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it. I will also stream the 3rd game in that series eventually, but not straight away, I'm afraid. What's this? Drat, it's just an ordinary electric razor recharging on its stand. Can't believe this, really. How long do they plan on making me do this? Ah, but it said Chipu's ID, so that means it must have a deep hidden meaning. But why do I get the feeling they wouldn't forget about me, would they? It was never like this in the old days. Everyone thought the world of me. They used to call me Queen Wendy and treat me like royalty, and they may have been... it's, again, way too quick for me to be able to read. There she is. I appreciate everything you and Mr. Edgeworth did for me from the bottom of my heart. Oh, that's right. I received a letter from Miss Von Karma. She said that after I get out, I should feel free to consult her about anything at all. I'm really thankful to have met everyone. Consult her? Producer Atsushi Naba. Isn't that the... Yeah, he's the head of Platinum Games now, that guy. It has become difficult for me. Blah blah. As such, I will take a short leave of absence. If you would like to request my services, please be sure to visit my homepage. May we both be blessed with longevity. Executive producer Shinji Mikami. March 23rd, 9:42 p.m. International Departures, Gate 12. Who is leaving? Von Karma, maybe? Going back to Germany? Ah, yeah. Where are you going, Franziska? Maybe going back to Germany. How did you know I was here? With this? I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example. That's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy drat coat of his. I don't know how it ended up with my luggage, but it's going in the trash, I promise you that. Oh, that's right. Speaking of that man, he told me something very interesting. There was, a remaining piece of evidence. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. 4 things? It seems he put the last one in his coat pocket. He put it in here? It doesn't matter anymore. The case is already over. What are you going to do now? That's none of your business. Are you running away? Shut up! You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter. Franziska. So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill. I'm expected to win no matter what, and failure? Such a thing is not an option for me. Yeah, she had it pretty rough growing up, I expect. My father was a genius, there's no doubt about that, but me, I'm no genius. I've always known that. But I had to be one, I had to. You may not be a genius like your father, but you are a prosecutor, you have been and always will be. No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away. Right. You were supposed to give me the whip. That's what I was supposed to give him. You haven't changed a bit. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead without me, Miles Edgeworth. I've always hated you. And then, finally my chance to take my revenge on you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, then this girl you left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge. I see. You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. I can't throw away everything I've been until today. I believe you can. Just like how Adrian Andrews did. Adrian Andrews? You were going to use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics, isn't that right? Today you chased after me, after I had left you behind all these years. And that's why we're standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you are going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, then this is where we part ways, Franziska von Karma. She's gonna cry? Really? Her of all people? I am Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk in your shadow forever. Our battle begins now. You had better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth. Ah, she's gonna be back then. Leaving into the sunset. Phoenix Wright. One day, someday, I'm sure we'll meet again in battle. Until then, this last piece of evidence that never made it to you, I'll take good care of this fourth piece, so I can give it to you when at last we meet again. What was it? What was that last piece of evidence? Ah, it's the drawing that Maya made. Okay. Okie dokie. So that's what it was. Well, it's over. Thank you for watching. I will be back. Well, can I be back tomorrow already with Rayman Legends? What if I can? I will be anyway. And if I can't, then I will inform you guys on my Discord server. I will try anyway. I will try to be there already by tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and take care until then. See ya.